Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. And today our topic is going to be about how to purchase a property without getting the bank involved. Now, I love real estate, and I've been been involved in real estate ever since 2007, which is when I first realized that I will be a landlord someday. And that's the reason why I got my real estate license in 2007 and start investing with my family. And back then, I already, all of my teaching is that, if you purchase a property, there's a couple ways that you can buy a property. First of all is of course the cash payment, where you bring in all the cash. So for example, if the property price was like, the agreed upon price was 500,000, then the buyer will bring all 500,000 uh, in to pay off, the purchase without involving any bank or a hard money lender. The other type of purchase, which is very popular, is the one with where the buyer bring in the 20% down payment and then borrow the rest. The reason that they down 20% or more is because they want to avoid the mortgage insurance, which is the PMI that is on top of a regular rate that they get from the lender. And of course, the third one is when they purchase and down at least 3.5%, and they still borrow money from the lender or the bank or the hard money lender, right? And of course, today I want to talk about one unique case that I didn't know exists until a certain part in time where I realized that hey, this might work. And that happened in around 2020 22. So during that time, I was able to cash out on my previous investment and have some money. So I was shopping for investment property, and I found this property here in San Bernardino. I bought it in May of 2025 for 635,000. I believe I was down 25% or so for this property. It was a fairly nice property. It's a 3 units. It has one house, that's separate. It's like a 3 bed, 1 bath unit here, and then have another unit here for 2 bed, 2 bed, 1 bath, and then another the small unit over here for another 2 bed, 1 bath. So I purchased with from the seller, and apparently the seller was the agent himself, so he owned these property. So he sold it to me. During that time, he sold to me for 635. I think I had a good deal because during that time, everybody thought the market peaked. Including the seller. So during that time, he lists so many of his property up for sale where he purchased back in 2011, 2012, and stuff like that. So he first sold it, but then he listed for like a really high price. As you can see here, um, I think you can find out originally. I think he listed for 799. So he listed in February 2022 for 799. Then he lowered it to 699. And then when I offer 635 and it agreed to it. So I purchased it. I borrowed the money from the lender. I think I borrowed like around 75% or so because I was able to down like 25%. So I borrowed from the lender and I purchased this. And this is in May. Now, during that time, like I told you, the seller himself, he got a few property like this because he want to get rid of them all. I'm not too sure if he's afraid it was at the peak already and he just want to cash out because he's afraid that's going to be a crash or something. So he lists like 4 or 5 of these property of his at the same time. And then after I purchased property, I was looking through the MLS and noticed another property of his that's also listed at the same time at the same price, very similar to this property. The rent was a little bit lower, but everything else is very close. So that property is here, 70 78. It's also a 3 unit, but this one is a bit the rent is a bit less because it's all units or like 2 bed 1 bath, 2 bed 1 bath. So there's 3 units in here that are like 2 bed 1 bath. If you look at the map here, let me see, click here, from the satellite, you know you see here there's 1 unit here, one here, and then another one here, all on a 2 bed 1 bath. And the lot is really big. This one is actually like around 20,000 square feet, so there's a lot of room to build more if I wanted to in the future. But this one, he lists at the same time with the same price. And because it's so close to the other property and I can see future cash flow on it, because I did my calculation. I noticed, if I max out the rent, I'll be able to cash flow on it. So I was also interested in this property. See, list same time, 799 down to 699, and then lower, and then after I purchased the other one in May, I want to buy this one too, and you know I want to buy this one also. So, but the thing is that I know that when you when you borrow money from a lender, like right after you borrow money from a lender, it's very unlikely that the lender will allow you to borrow again, like in such a short period of time. So during that time, I was scrambling to see, oh, how can I make this deal work? And I just realized that, hey, why don't I just bring this idea up to the seller and see if they agree to it. So I went to him and I told him like, oh, hey, how about Shane, how about, like, I like this property too, and as you know that I just purchased the other property from you, and I know for sure that the lender is not gonna lend me money to buy this property, but I still want to buy it anyway, and here I have around 25% down, but I need to borrow the rest. During that time, I believe the interest rate was like 5.5. So I was telling him, how about, if you allow me to do like a balloon loan from you, like I lend it from I borrowed like seller finance, we call it seller finance, so borrow the money directly from the lender, I mean the seller, and to buy this place. So it's kind of odd that I buy a property from him, but I also borrow money from him. But it does work because he at this time he believed that the market might drop, so that's why he want to get rid of it. He want to lock in this gain, and so he willing to sell it to me for 635. We went back and forth about the 4% interest rate. I went over with him 4%. I said, oh, that's the max I can do. And then he went and he said, oh, let me check with his wife. And then we go back and forth for a couple of days, and then he came up and said, okay, his wife is willing to do it for 4.5%, a 5-year balloon payment, and am I okay with that? We're gonna do it at the same price, 635, and then that's where we're agreed to. And so I ended up buying this property from him, off of him, in June of 2022, a month right after the other one, with a 4.5 interest rate, amortized over 30 years, for a balloon payment in 5 years. So after that, I was able to purchase both parties at say like within a month of each other, and I didn't have to get involved with like any bank or any hard money lender. As you know, like one reason that I can't get a bank is because I purchased the other one right before this. So if I go with a bank, they probably not gonna they're gonna deny my application because they say, oh, you have the other property that you just purchased and you have to get that stabilized first before you can you have like the income from from the other property to show that you can manage it and stuff like that. So the bank ways it's not gonna work, and of course there's always an option of a hard money lender, which is like a private lender, similar to the self finance, but the private lender, they make money on the rate. So typically the rate is going to be much higher than the market rate. During that time, the market rate was only like around 5.5%. So if I go with a hard money lender, it's probably going to be like in the sevens or the eights. I'm not too sure, but that is going to make the cash flow like completely wiped out. So I ended up was able to convince the seller, because he's rushed to selling it. I was able to convince him to sell it to me with a seller finance for a 4.5%. And then of course after a couple of years later, I just refinanced out of that loan to a regular 30-year mortgage fixed mortgage. I think at like a 6.5% or something. But that's how I purchase a property without a lender, or a bank or a hard money lender. And it's very a coincidence, because the thing is like not many sellers will be willing to do this, because like I said, when they want to cash out, they want to cash out. They don't want to cash out and get stuck with the with lending you the money for another 5 years or so. But I was very fortunate, because for this seller, his wife, she is actually like a loan officer, so she's the one that underwrite the loan too. So she ran the number and she said, oh, it makes sense, I can afford this loan. And that's the reason why they agreed for me to buy from them and borrow money from them. Because if the lender or his wife doesn't know much about lending to people, they might not take that risk. So I was very, very lucky that I purchased from him. The property is like for the same seller, and he know my situation, because I bought the month before. So the reason for me to ask for a seller finance does make sense, because I can't borrow it from anywhere else. And in addition to that, it's good that his wife was know any all the underwriting criteria, so she can run my numbers and make sure that I can afford it. And that's the reason how I was able to purchase both property like within a month of each other. And the second property I purchased without a bank or a hard money lender. So I mean, typically you'll see like a 20% down with a lender and stuff like that. But this is a unique case. I don't think I'll be able to do this again. But this is something that I'm kind of proud of because you're like, oh wow, I was able to make it work. I hear about it all the time online, but a lot of time people were like, they have to buy something that is like really bad condition, and the seller cannot make money out from it anymore, and that's the reason why they're willing to sell it to you, carry it for you, because they know that if they keep on keeping the property, they're gonna lose money. But for this particular case, I didn't have much repairs on it. Like I have tenants in there already. Like when I purchased it, it's all fully occupied. All three tenants were like paying good paying tenants. So I have one person that's like doing a house. Yeah, they go through a housing program here, so it's very stable. And then the other two live there for like 10+ years already. So the property is like it's functioning. It doesn't need a lot of like going in and do a whole bunch of repairs. So I'm glad that I purchased this property, and that's how I purchased a property without any lender or any bank or any hard money lender. Anyway, that's it for today. Thank you for watching my video, and I'm a realtor. I can help you buy, sell, or lease. I'm actually helping. I can do property management now as well. So if you have any question regarding property management, buying or selling, please reach out to me, and hopefully you enjoy this video and hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more video like this. Okay, thank you. See you next time. Bye.